Folks, we're back. This is Steve Sanson, Stephen Jonas with Veterans in Politics. Today we're going to have Juan Rivera, United States Marine Veteran, combat vet, crazy as a mother. And he's going to discuss the family court corruption. But before we go to him...
Okay, so I'm a gamer, so I play a crap ton of video games. Well, my latest thing right now is there's certain games that are like an interactive movie almost. Almost the entire game's a cutscene, and then you get prompted to push buttons at certain time, called quick time events or whatever. So I played this one called, it's an anthology, The Dark Pictures, and it's called Little Hope. And the game's about a group of people get into a crash and they go through this town, Little Hope, that has a history with the Salem witch trials. So there's all this demonic stuff happening and visions and nightmares and all this weird stuff. So I decided to look into the Salem witch trials because I remember mass hysteria. I'm thinking hundreds, thousands of people were executed. We all know they were falsely accused and stuff. Did you know only about 2,000 people were accused? There was only about 50 trials and 18 executions. I'm like, okay, so why is that such a stain on American history that, you know, especially anti-religious people, atheists are always like, oh, Salem witch trials. Well, we know just criminal prosecutions, how many people have been executed falsely? Yeah. How many people have been exonerated through DNA evidence? I'm like, so I just don't understand the desire for people to look back in American history and like pick an event like that to make it like, oh, America is this deplorable nation. It's like, really? So I don't know, it just kind of struck me as odd because I always had the mindset that it was this blown up thing in America. Now, however, in Europe it was thousands of people executed. So, but everyone just wants to look at America and be like, America, you know? So I don't know, I just found that interesting. So I just wanted to bring it up just as a way, like people need to stop over sensitized. Yeah, certain little small events, you know. Well, it wasn't small, it was a big deal, it was horrible. 18 people were falsely accused. Many people were falsely accused. And they said most of it was jealous neighbors. People didn't like them. Maybe somebody's wife like made a comment about someone else's wife and they're like, oh, she's a witch. You know, who knows? Or there might have been some of them that actually had mental health issues. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then that was a big thing where people thought it was witchcraft and people were just mentally ill. So that's it though. I know it's kind of a weird thing to bring up, but it's been on my mind.
Europe had the Inquisitions.
Oh yeah.
That was a big deal too for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, that was huge. That was actually.
That was huge.
Yeah, it was.
You believe in my God? No. Boom. Done.
Yep.
Well, the only thing I got is that we court observed today.
Okay.
So that was fun. And yeah, I mean the judges were cordial, the marshals were excited, and I think they were glad to have us back in some small way.
Okay.
You know, keep everybody honest.
Right.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Yeah. I heard they knew we were in there. Everybody knew we were in there. I don't know if they have some type of secret code system or something.
Yeah, who knows?
You know, where they did a little walkie-talkie code name, Red Fox, Red Rooster.
God.
who knows?
Yeah, right.
Red door.
So anyways. So, Mr. Rivera, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good, actually.
Tell us about yourself.
Well, no, I'm a Marine veteran.
Uh-huh.
I'm a family man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I was talking to Steve, you know, a little bit earlier before we started this. You know, I do a lot of stuff. You know, I'm not on social media. The only thing I'm on is YouTube for sports. You know, I follow these two guys. You know, to kind of make
Ted.
Nah, not those two guys. You know, I should follow those two guys actually, but you know, to make a little bit of extra money on the side, you know, where I'm not being taxed, you know, the little extra money that you need, you know, to take those little trips with family, you know, take them to, you know, Disneyland, you know, Knott's Berry Farm, take them to the beach, you know, the things that, you want your kids to kind of do everything at least once, right?
Yeah.
You know, maybe take them to a nice restaurant, you know.
Yeah.
You know, a movie, you know. Take them to a movie and buy popcorn and let them have a candy with a big ass pop. You know, but fortunately for 20 some years, for about 21 years, you know, I was on the court system, the family court system in California, Los Angeles, to be exact. And I just recently got released. You know, and I'll tell you the reason. The way I got released was because it took me a while. It took me about over a year to talk to my former spouse. You know, I was trying to talk to her. You know, I got my disability. You know, my older kids. I haven't seen them for over a decade, Steve. Okay, my older son. You know, he's in San Diego, works a full-time job, but I keep an eye on him. You know me. I'm always in my mess. I'm always involved with everything. Even if I'm not there, I'm always behind the curtain. So I kept an eye on my kids for that duration. I know what they were doing. I know where they were at. And they're good kids. They're good kids. I got to give them that. You know, so my son's in San Diego. I told a friend of mine, hey, can you do me a favor? He's actually in the naval base real close by. He found his phone number. I gave him a call. I said, hey, buddy, you know, my best friend died January 2020. I said, I'm going to be in Temecula. Can I go visit with your sister? You know, I'm going to go to the funeral. You know, you're on the other side of the mountain. We can go have breakfast. And that was the first time I seen him in a little bit over a decade. And the reason I didn't get to see them, it wasn't because of my fault. It was because my former spouse, with the help of the system, the family court system in California, she was pretty much granted the opportunity to deny me my rights, even though I have court documents that says that I can go see them at least once every other weekend, right? But because I have a pair of something between my legs and I'm not the woman, I don't get to have those rights. And I've been through everything. I've been through anger management classes. Look, I got the certificate here. No, I'm serious because...
Why were you even in anger management class?
Because they send you to these things. They send you to the judge points a finger to you and says, you have to do this. They stipulate things that you have to do this prerequisite, you have to do this before. They even sent me, because she lost her shit one time in court, because she lost her head. They put me in a place called Mi Familia in East Los Angeles. You know who goes there to see their kids? Criminals, druggies, people that beat their family, that beat their kids. You go in there, you see all these guys tatted up with syringe markings all over their arms, and there I am, driving every Wednesday for months to California to see my two kids. And then on top of that, the system makes me pay. They make me pay out of my pocket with the money that I don't have to go see my kids for 45 minutes. They say an hour, but it was only 45 minutes. And then the person in there is in a nasty place, a small room, half the size of this room. And then with these dirty, nasty ass toys. And then I have to bring McDonald's or something for them to eat, even though they didn't eat it. And I wasted all that time where I can have quality time somewhere else outside of that venue with my kids as their father. But they put me there because she lost her shit. So whatever happened between us, nothing happens to her, but everything happens to me. So it's kind of like that story I told you, Steve. The system, even the one here in Clark County, which I'm still part of because I have a teenage boy, which she just turned 18, and my son, Mila, she's just turned 17 too. She's going to graduate next year. My son's going to UNLV. I got good kids. They're all good kids. They put you in a hole. And in the hole, it's a very deep hole that they put you into. They don't put you in there with a rope. They don't put you in there with a ladder. Okay? And they ask all these things about you. They send all these letters to you. Every time you send a letter, an email, or a call, they send you a threatening letter. California does it, Nevada does it too. And the letter states that if you don't provide this amount, or if you don't pay this amount, we're going to garnish your wages. We're going to take away your license. We're going to take away your property. We're going to take away all this stuff. We're going to take away boom, boom, boom. There's like, I don't know if it was 5 or 10 things that they're going to take away from you. Those are threats. Mm-hmm. So what are you supposed to do as the father? You got to comply, right? You got to comply. So when you comply and you adhere to what they're actually asking for, what do they give you in return? Nothing. They don't give you a damn thing. And the only time you can get out of that hole is that when it rains. You're always praying for rain. So when the hole floods, you can climb out for a moment and take a breath and breathe for a while, and hopefully come over and hug your kids for a moment and see them for just a bit. And you don't even get that. And I've seen some ugly stuff, man. I've been to meetings. I walk into these meetings and all there is women. And as soon as they walk in, they look at me because I'm male. I'm a male, right? They look at me and they're like, what the hell is this guy doing? I'm already labeled. A bastard, a deadbeat father, Disneyland father. Isn't that what they call us? You know, and they don't even know me. They judge me before they even know who I am. And I'm placed in all these things, and I'm not even none of those things. And it was very hard to keep my dignity because that's the only thing I kept. I was so angry so many times, over and over again. And I saw so many atrocities of what these systems do. What these systems do, they drive people to the edge. Remember we were talking about that, Steve? They drive people to the edge. And what do those people do? They don't have a choice. So what do? They turn off the lights. Even if they have good kids, they say, you know what? I don't want to be here no more because I'm tired of doing this. I keep giving and giving and giving. And the people that are there, judges, administrators, mediators, attorneys, the people that are cashiers, the ones that are the caseworkers that you have, nobody cares. They even talk to you so mean over the phone that I'm berated with words like, you're a shitbag. I've been called a shitbag over the phone. I swear to God, I'm not even lying to you. From people in California and from people here in Nevada. Well, if you did your part, Mr. Rivera, you would be with your children. That's what they would tell me. Isn't that a hook?
And what part is that? What they want you to do that you
yeah,
haven't
like
already
if I did my part, like exactly. I would ask them, like, what part do you mean? Mm-hmm. They have money, they have all their necessities, mm-hmm. They go to school, they have their studies. Mm-hmm. You know, like my kids in California, they grew up in Catholic schools. My spouse sent them to Catholic schools. And when you go to Catholic school, that costs money. Mm-hmm. It's not free. Yeah. Right? So it's not like she didn't get anything. But at the end of the day, after I had a long conversation with her, I wanted her to see, my former spouse, I said, I wanted her to see, well, I want you to see how I'm treated. I want you to talk to my caseworker because I want you to see if you can close the case because I couldn't even get a passport because you have child support. Even if you have $1 child support, you can't get a passport. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to go see family in another country, and I couldn't even leave my country to go see family that are getting elderly. I'm almost 50, and people I'm talking about, they're in their 80s, going into their 90s. Yeah. And I'm not allowed to do that? So I had a long conversation with her. You know how much it cost me, Steve? I paid her $8,000 and a long conversation and show her, I want you to see how they treat me. And she was on the phone and she even saw, oh, well, she was really nice to me. But she wasn't nice to me. This is what she said to me. My caseworker. And this is what she said to you. But look what she did with me. Same with Nevada. Here in Nevada, I went to court one day. I had my attorney, which I paid $1,000, on retainer fee. I was ready to get custody of my son, James and Mila, mm-hmm. Because their mother wasn't wasn't doing anything. I took them to the doctor, eye doctor, their pediatrician. If they had an emergency, I took them to school. I had their babysitter. I bought their clothes. And everything that I bought, because there's two of them, I bought two because I wanted her to have what they needed in her house and also in my house. So I said, at least I'm going to try to make it, mm-hmm. Good on her side and good on my side, but I'm going to give you what they need on your side. But she even still didn't try. I'm the one that did everything. With the help of my wife, too. Amber, she's a beautiful woman. Mm-hmm. Beautiful human being. She loves all my children. And that we have twins together. And my kids, they know what happened as they grew up. But anyway, when I went to court, to get custody, my former partner, she didn't have an attorney. So you know what she did? I was ready. I was going to win the case. The case ahead of us finished, right? Mm-hmm. And somehow she pulled it out of her ass that the attorney in the case ahead of us, she started talking to him. And he ended up helping her in the case. And so there I am. I'm ass out, trying to get custody of my kids. The thousands of dollars I paid in retainer fees, and everything was a wash. It was good for nothing. And I was there for my children. But at the end of the day, the one that looks bad is always me. Is always me. And at the end of the day, I'm the one that lost. Going to these classes, anger management, nutrition, parenting, schooling for the kids, how to be there for the kids. Do you think any of my spouses, my former spouses, ever were there doing that for the children? Not one. Do you think they ever said, thank you, Juan, for doing that and being there for the kids? Even to this day, not one has even said that. And even when the one in California was finished, and here I have the closing, it says here, this letter is yet to know that on this date, any services currently being provided by the Department of Child Support Services in Los Angeles are terminated because it's no longer current, because my kids are older. My son is 22, my daughter's 20. But at the end of the day, I lost. My kids lost. They didn't see me for over a decade. They didn't see their siblings for over a decade. So because the system decided that I wasn't supposed to be there for whatever reason, or I wasn't allowed, and I know people are like, well, did you try to call them? Did you see if you qualify for any resources? I tried everything. I sent letters to all the governors from 2001 to 2020 in California. You think one of them ever helped me? Or they sent me a correspondence? No. Even the ones here in Las Vegas, Sandoval, even the one current. You think they ever sent me anything? Not one. I reached out, and I know they have resources. On my phone, I had 5 apps for resources in California, 5 apps. And they were there to help me. The only thing that those 5 apps helped me for California was to make a payment. And did you know that when I made a payment, they tack on fees on top of what you have to pay? Even here in Clark County, when you made a payment, they take the dignity away. You have to take off your belt. It's almost like TSA at the airport. Take off your shoes. They pat you down. But when a woman goes through, they do the same, but they don't pat her down. And then they give you your shit, and then you pay. You go to the window. You take a number, so you have to wait there for a little bit. They call you over, and then you make a payment, and then they tack on a fee to make a payment. How's that fair? It's like we were talking, Steve.
Process fee.
Yeah. So they're there to make money. So, okay, so let me ask this. How is this all a benefit for the children? Because none of this was a benefit for my children. They didn't get nothing out of this at all whatsoever. At least somebody can tell me, what did my children get out of this? Because I got papers, man. I got a shitload of documents right here. These are all for my kids here in Nevada. Can you imagine the paperwork I got for the kids in California? I got 2 of these for the kids in California. And I have not one correspondence from everything I've sent to them. I sent physical letters, emails, calls, and nothing. Not one document. You see, Mila James, health records, dentist records, drafts, birth certificate, miscellaneous. Name me a woman that does this for their own children. I'm doing this as their father. Not one. Not one correspondence. And it breaks my heart because you know what I can do as a man? The only thing I can do as a man, yeah, I can get angry. But the only thing I can do as a man is sit down and cry. And that's what makes me a human being. Sit down and cry for my children. That's it. And it breaks my heart. And if people are listening out there, let me reach out to Mr. Rivera. Let's see what I can do for Mr. Rivera. What can you do for me if you're out there? If you're an attorney, or if you're a judge, or if you're an administrator in this system, what can you do to help these people? I'm not a bad person. I even seen people take their own life. I was working a construction site. I knew this guy. I met his son. Good guy, good person. Never beat up his person. You know what the other problem was? His spouse was a drug addict, alcoholic. But the system here and in the one in California, wanted the kid to live with the mother. And the mother was an alcoholic and a drug addict. And the father didn't even drink. He just smoked cigarettes. That's it. That was his thing. So one day in a construction site, it was a 4-story building, he unhooked his lanyard from his suit that he had on. We were on a 4-story building. I was working electrical. He was a framer. He said, Juan, hey, you enjoy the rest of your day. Next thing I know, I'm going back to my job. And next thing I hear crash. He jumped off the building. Yeah. He took his own life because he just couldn't take it anymore, because the system, even if we use other resources, like we used, what's the other resources here in town? Rights for divorced fathers. Do I have that right? That title? I think I have it right. I was in there working with those guys for like years, 4 or 5 years, and they helped me a lot. They got me ahead a little bit, but it cost me money. Not a lot, but but they helped me. But that's what the horrors of what you see that these systems do. These are the things that you don't hear about, that are happening every day, every single day, to men and also women. I'm not saying that women are not involved too, because I've met some real nice women that were being ousted by the system too, and they weren't drinking, they weren't alcoholics, they weren't drug addicts. It's just that they got a bad rap for some reason, in the court. Somehow they got a bad deal. They rolled the wrong pair of dice or something.
Well, the court system, in family court, you don't have to provide evidence. All you got to do is make an allegation and the judge runs with it.
Exactly.
And then they don't even sanction the attorneys for perjury.
No.
So they run with it too. So everybody's on this one stuff. They walk. I sat on this one case, and it was a father trying to get visitation of his kids, a school teacher, and mom says that dad was as an alcoholic, and no evidence to support that. The judge right away had dad go to an alcoholic class and put this device on his vehicle that he has to blow in
to turn it on
to start the engine. Now, how embarrassing is that? Especially in front of your kids, and you're not even an alcoholic, but just because somebody labeled you that way and slandered you, all of a sudden the judge runs with it instead of saying, what evidence do you have to support that allegation?
Exactly.
Do you have any DUIs on him? Do you have any photos or video of him being an alcoholic and drinking? Do you have anything? They don't ask for any evidence. But the other thing I wanted to bring up too, because there's a lot of people says, why is a veterans group involved in family court procedures? And here you are, a Marine veteran that got screwed by the system, right?
Yeah, many times over.
So could you explain and let people know how important it is? It doesn't matter if you're a veteran or not, that people get involved in trying to make this system a little better?
The important thing about it, and I'll tell you, Steve, that is, that, and I'll tell you right now, my kids, if you ask them, they probably have no idea what I do for them. Especially this, they have no clue. Only my wife knows. She knows everything from beginning to end. My daughter's starting to pick up little things, but the important thing about it is kind of paving the way. Maybe my story can open up the way for someone else, make it easier for another father that's going out there and going through the same troubles, maybe going through the same tribulations. Maybe a woman that's going through the same troubles and tribulations, maybe she was a veteran and the woman, she had to go do her duty and she comes back and the husband just accused her of so many things, or maybe vice versa. The wife was accusing the veteran of so many things. And that's what happened. I've seen those things too happen, with veterans. And it's kind of like to open your eyes, to be involved and help these people and say, you know what? Let's start a paper trail and let's use, who knows, let's use Mr. Rivera's cases. Let's see what he went through and let's use his cases to help this person. Let's help this veteran or this person that's not a veteran. You know, let's open up the floodgates and make these people honest. You know, the judges, the attorneys, the administrators, the people that do those accusations, and let's make those people honest and say, no, wait a minute. This guy doesn't have anything on his record. He's never been arrested. He doesn't even drink alcohol. So let's go from there and pave the way for something brand new. Let's look for something brand new to open up different doors and not continue with the same thing, because the people that are affected in these cases are the same people that the courts are saying that they're doing in the best interest of the children. The children are the ones that are suffering. Like my children suffer for over 10 years. They didn't see me for 10 years, but I kept tabs on them, and I made sure that they were okay at all times.
And you hear, especially in the poverty-stricken neighborhoods, you hear how the fathers are not there to be in their kids' life. They get the women pregnant and they split. And then the fathers that do want to be in their children's life, they make it so damn difficult for them. You know, I'm not trying to go on a gender versus gender thing. No, I'm going on. I want a fair platform for both parents. Yeah. You know, to try to be in their children's lives. It shouldn't be harder for one gender over another.
Yeah, I know, and I had, you know what, Steve? A lot of people say, well, why didn't you just show up and pick up the kids and enjoy your weekend with them that you had by the courts? I say, okay. Let's say, you know me, Steve. I've known you since what, 2009? We've known each other for a while. You know me, I'm not going to show up somewhere and then someone's going to say, you know what? He's here and he's going to assault us. And then who's going to go to jail if I show up? Mm-hmm. Me. And then my spouse in California, my former spouse in California, just to throw a cherry on the top, her cousin works for the DA in Los Angeles. So that didn't help me out either, you know? So, you know? So if I was to show up to pick up my two kids and say, hey, I'm here to have a good weekend with my kids, she's going to be calling the cops like, hey, you know, he's here to do something against us. I need him arrested. And you think they're going to listen to me? No, because I don't live there. They're going to look at my plates. Let me see your ID. Who are you? They're going to put me on the car. They're going to cuff me. And they're going to cuff me and arrest me before they ask any questions, before they identify me. You know that's what cops do, especially in LA. You know?
I had it done not too long ago.
you know you're going to get arrested before they ask questions. So I had everything against me from the get-go. Right. And it was, you know, it's a horrible thing to go through. I mean, because I spent sleepless nights. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, he didn't try. I tried. I tried very hard. And my wife, you know, my current wife, you know, beautiful woman, she can tell you. And she struggled with me too, because she can tell you that the things that I went through, you know, the things that I tried to talk to, you know, people in California with, or even here in Clark County. Man, they called me names. And they're supposed to be professional, you know, and they're supposed to be doing it in the best interest of the children. So if the system is there to help you with the children and they continue to take from you, let's say they take your license and you're supposed to be working and paying your child support, how are you going to get to work? How are you going to get to work if they take your license with one of those, right? In your job, we live in Vegas, but if your job is 30 minutes away, walking is going to be a few hours, right? In the morning, because the bus doesn't run all damn day. Especially if you work construction, you got to be there like 3, 4 in the morning. Bus ain't running that early, from what I remember. Most of them know. You know, and let's say they take your house. Where's your family that you're trying to grow up here in Las Vegas? Where's my family going to live, or my kids? In the cars that I can't drive because I don't have a license. You know.
And not too many employees want to hire you if you have a garnishment for child support either.
You know, and let me tell you this. I actually got a job. Remember I told you I was working with Clark County? I was working with Jacqueline Holloway, okay? She's the director of business license in Clark County, okay? I got hired by her And this person, that was a Marine too, he totally screwed me. Dan Hoffman, he doesn't work there anymore. I made sure of that. And, but Jacqueline Holloway still works there. Okay. And I got there, I already knew how to do my job. It was supposed to be for an investigator under the business license to, regulate the business licenses of here in Las Vegas. Casinos, stores, restaurants, what have you. And as soon as you get a job, they run your Social Security, what happens? Red lights, right? Red flags all over the place, right? California starts finding out. Clark County starts finding out. And then who knows? Who finds out next? Your employer, right? As soon as they find out, they were trying to find a way to get me out of there. Oh, they got me out of there too. They only kept me long enough to collect unemployment. Only long enough to collect $122 a week. Or 2 weeks, I think. They kept me there only for 90 days. They hired me in the winter of 2008, and they let me go in March of 20 or 22 or something like that. March 20 or 22 of 2009. And that was under Jacqueline Holloway. You think she helped me? No, because as soon as they found out that I had child support, they didn't know why I had child support. They knew I was a good guy. The people that I work with that are still there, James Heating, another guy named Gary, all those guys Gary was an Army veteran. I was very cordial with him. He was my boss. James Heaton, he was my boss too. Very cordial. We went to dinner, lunch. We had family outings together within those 3 months. You think they helped me? And they say, Juan, you're shooing. You know how to do reports. You know how to read very well. You know how to use a computer. You know how to do some investigating. You're shooing. But as soon as they found out that I had child support, I was out. They couldn't get me out of there fast enough. And you know how they did it? As soon as I came in one day, it was my off day. They told me I had to come in to work. They put a box on my desk in my cubicle. And I had a picture, a family picture, when we first bought a house on my desk. It was my wife, myself, my son James, he was a baby, and my daughter Mila. You know what they did? They took the picture out of the frame. They scanned the picture to crop my head. Okay, Jacqueline Holloway allowed this to happen. They cropped my head, okay, and they put the picture back in the frame. And they put it right on my desk so I wouldn't know what it was. Okay, and I'll show you the picture later. I'll send it to you. And I'll show you the family picture of it. And they posted it in every department. And with that posting of my picture that Jacqueline Holloway allowed, under it, they said, very dangerous man. If you see this man, call 911, call security. Do not approach. You know who took those pictures down? Lawrence Weekly. A friend of mine called him and said, you need to do us a favor because we got something on you. All those guys are corrupted. And I walked into all these people's, I went to Chris G's office, Tom Collins. I went to our governor's office too. He was a commissioner there. You think they all helped me? And they knew what was going on? As soon as they were done with me listening to what happened to me, they closed the door right behind me. Don't let the door hit you behind your ass, Mr. Rivera. And then when they fired me, Jacqueline Holloway had 4 security guards walk my ass out of Clark County Business License Department, out of the government building. You know that's a public building, right? Mm-hmm. I'm allowed to be in there, right? Mm-hmm. But I never did anything wrong. I did my job 100%. But it was just because I had child support on me, because I was labeled. And because I was labeled from the system, I wasn't allowed to have a good job. Man, they were paying me, I forgot how much. I think it was like $60,000 just to investigate licenses, man. These guys are probably making 6 figures now. That was 2008. And we're in 2021. You know that these guys are making 6 figures sitting on their asses doing nothing because a lot of them had stacks of papers like this. That's why people have problems to getting a license for their business here in town. And I would tell them, hey, let me have a couple of those business licenses. I'll do them for you. Nah, it's okay. I got them, Mr. Rivera. And they would use me too because I speak 2 languages, because I'm bilingual. Hey, go talk to these people because we don't speak Spanish. You speak Spanish, go ahead and translate for us and tell them that we got some taxes they need to pay so they can keep their license. But that's how nasty it is. These systems, they don't help you. They don't help you. It's like you've got a target in the front and one in the back. And you walk around with these targets. And that's how nasty it is. And you don't get any help. When I was released with this letter, you see this letter here? When I was released with this letter, I reached out to California and my caseworker too. I reached out before they released me. I said, can you guys help me to mend the relationship that your system ruined between my son and my daughter that live in California? Mm-hmm. I never got a response. I even reached out to Clark County. Never got a response. Can you guys help me? I reached out to them. And I never got a response. I said, please help me out. I haven't seen my children in 10 years. I need some assistance. I need help because you are here to do everything in the benefit and the best interest of the children. And my children need help for me to be in their world, to be back in their life. Because I'm not a bad guy. You guys made me the bad guy. You know me. You've known me for over a decade, Steve. Am I a bad guy? No, I'm not a bad guy. You call me, when I can. Am I there for you? I'm always there for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was talking to Steve earlier. When other veterans need me, I don't go posting stuff on Facebook, Twitter, or Snapchat, TikTok, all this stuff. I do stuff for veterans. I do stuff for neighbors. And I don't go looking out for gratification. You know what my gratification is? A smile, a handshake, a freaking hug, a thanks, Juan, I appreciate it, man. I'll get back to you. Don't worry about it, pal. It's okay. If you need anything else, come get me. I'll help you out because I'm here. If my shirt on my back, you need it, I'll take it off. I'll give it to you. And I've done that. It's winter here. It gets cold here in the winter in Vegas. We live in the desert. I've given people my jacket. It's freezing. It gets cold. I'm driving somewhere. I'm at Target, and somebody's panhandling for money. Doesn't have a coat. I've taken out my coat. My wife will be like, wait, what are you doing? That thing costs like $150. It's okay. It's fine. I don't need it. I got 2 more at home. I'll take it off. Hey, pal, here you go. Put it on, buddy. And here's $20. We went to Washington. My wife went to visit her family in Pennsylvania. I went to Washington, D.C. I took my 2 kids. I took James and Mila. Went to Ford Theater. We saw the thing where Lincoln got shot. We went to see the Korean War where the statues are at. Lincoln Memorial, the Vietnam Memorial, the Smithsonian, all those museums and everything. And there was a guy outside of the Smithsonian Museum. He was panhandling. I'm a veteran. He was about 25, 26 years old. I didn't have change. I had a $100 bill in my pocket. And I told the guy, I said, look, buddy, get up. I said, have some dignity for yourself, buddy. I'm going to give you $100. I'm with my kids. These are my last $100. I got to go to the bank. I got money. Don't worry about that. Take these $100. Take your sign. Throw that shit in the garbage. Just get out of here, man. Do something for yourself. Nobody here is going to give you anything, man. Just get out of here. Go do something for yourself. Look, if you need help, here's my number on the bill. Call me. I'll find some resources for you. If you live here in town, I'll find some resources for you here. He did reach out, and I found a veteran place that would help veterans in Washington, D.C. Did he get help? I don't know. Hopefully he did. But at least he had some money to get some food. Hopefully he got a place to take a shower. But my gratification was a smile. But that doesn't make me a bad guy. But when I come home, I have to deal with the systems. The California court family system and the one in here in Las Vegas.
Well, Mr. Rivera, I really enjoy listening to this, but we're running out of time. And I would like for you, thank you for coming on the show.
No, definitely. And I hope people, open up to people to help out people if they know about someone that needs help.
I'd like for you to look in the camera and final words and your point of contact. Whatever you want to say.
Well, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you heard my stories, and there's a lot more. I got so many stories about these systems. if you know somebody out there that needs help, I'm still in the system here in Clark County. I'm still dealing with it. I think I got to get my son that's 18 out of it now. I still got my daughter that's 17 there. Do something. Help out that person that, instead of labeling that person, help them out. Give them a hand. Don't just say there's resources. Here you go. Open the door on the left. They're going to help you out. There's a mediator. Don't just do that. Walk him over. Tell him, here, this person, give him a name, give him a number, a go-to person. Don't just point. And then they get lost in the hallways or in the system with numbers and, websites and apps on your phone. Give them something, meat and potatoes that they can actually look at, a physical book where they can open and grab something that they can actually get to and use that resource so they can actually do something with their kids. Because I lost something that I can't get back. I will never get back that decade that I lost with my kids. And the system will never do anything for me back. And if anybody has anything for me, you can reach me at rover2@yahoo.com. That's ROVER 2@yahoo.com. I'm not on social media, but you can reach me out that way. Or you can reach me through YouTube at The Lord 2 or at rover2@yahoo.com.
Mr. Rivera, thank you so much. You have anything?
No.
Folks, that was Juan Rivera pouring his heart out, talking about the corruption that plagued the family court system and how he had to fight to even have his children be in his life. And this is a man that fought for our country, that wore that eagle, globe, and anchor that represented the United States Marine Corps. So yes, for those folks out there are lots of veterans that are in the family court system of corruption. So just to let you know, it's not just the civilians, it's all of us. So let's all work together to make the system a little better. This is Steve Sanson, Steve Jonas for Veterans in Politics. Until next time.